There's a lot of disappointment. It was really emotional. It was pretty brutal. It's just difficult to remain tough and strong. It has a lot to do with you as a person.
Fans of Homestead Rescue know Misty Raney as the fearless builder with an unbreakable spirit. But behind her strength lies a story few truly know. Away from the cameras and rugged wilderness, Misty has faced a heartbreaking tragedy that changed her life forever. What seemed like a life built on resilience and family turned into a battle with unimaginable pain and loss. But how did this beloved TV star find the courage to keep going? Today, we uncover the emotional truth behind Misty Raney's devastating journey. Misty Raney's silent battle. Misty Raney, the beloved star of the reality show Homestead Rescue, has recently become the center of online speculation. Fans who have followed her rugged lifestyle and admired her resilience are now buzzing with curiosity and concern about her health. Rumors about her sudden weight gain have flooded social media, sparking discussions and theories about whether something might be wrong. Yet, through all the noise, Misty herself has remained gracefully silent, neither confirming nor denying any of the claims. Her quietness has only deepened the mystery surrounding her situation, leaving followers guessing and wondering what the truth might be. Those who know Misty's story understand that she has always lived a demanding and adventurous life. Growing up in a family of skilled homesteaders, she learned early on how to survive off the land, build with her hands, and create comfort out of the wilderness. Her father, Misty Raney, and brother, Matt, also feature on Homestead Rescue, where they help struggling families rebuild their rural dreams. For Misty, this isn't just television, it's her way of life. She splits her time between Alaska and Hawaii, balancing hard physical labor, family responsibilities, and a passion for sustainable living. Some online discussions have hinted that Misty might be dealing with stress-related habits like emotional or stress eating, or even obsessive-compulsive tendencies. However, Misty has never spoken publicly about such matters. What she has said, and shown through her actions, is that maintaining strength and stamina is crucial for her work. From repairing cabins in the freezing Alaskan wilderness to managing heavy tools and long days of labor, Misty's lifestyle demands energy, endurance, and a solid diet. So, while some may speculate that her body changes reflect health struggles, others believe they may simply be the natural result of a life lived outdoors, filled with demanding work and shifting seasons. Her fans continue to admire her for her authenticity and determination. While some have seen Misty's silence about her private life as a subtle approval, others feel it may be her way of keeping the focus where it belongs. On the homesteading values she stands for: self-reliance, hard work, and family unity. In a world where most celebrities rush to respond to every rumor, Misty's calm and steady approach feels refreshing. She chooses action over attention, letting her work and character speak louder than words. Whether in the icy mountains of Alaska or the lush fields of Hawaii, Misty Raney remains the same strong, grounded woman viewers first fell in love with. Her story is a reminder that strength comes in many forms. Sometimes it's in lifting logs and building homes, and sometimes it's in simply refusing to be shaken by what people say. Until she chooses to speak for herself, Misty continues to inspire others, not through explanations, but through example, showing that true resilience doesn't need validation. Apart from her health, were there other rumors spreading online? What prompted the rumors spreading online about her? Let's delve deeper into the details surrounding the rumors about Misty spreading online. The storm of rumors, fame, much like the unpredictable Alaskan weather, can shift in an instant. One moment, the sky is calm and clear. The next, a storm rolls in without warning. That's exactly what happened when the internet suddenly began to hum with a strange question. Is Misty Raney dead? It started quietly, as rumors often do, a few online whispers, a handful of curious posts, and then a wave of speculation that crashed across social media. Within hours, the whispers became headlines, and the uncertainty turned into panic. Some claimed Misty had died in a tragic accident. Others said she had fallen ill or suffered some heartbreaking fate. The truth no longer seemed to matter. What mattered was that the story was spreading fast, feeding on emotion and confusion. Fans from around the world flooded the internet searching for answers. Misty Raney wasn't just another television figure, she was an icon of strength, survival, and warmth. She had shown people that living off the land wasn't about isolation. It was about connection, courage, and the beauty of simplicity. So, when the world thought she was gone, it felt personal. Her followers grieved, not for a celebrity, but for someone who had inspired them to live boldly and love nature deeply. The irony, however, was both painful and poetic. As thousands mourned her supposed death, Misty was very much alive, breathing the crisp mountain air, tending to her homestead, and working hard as always to help others rebuild their dreams from the ground up. While the internet was busy writing her eulogy, she was hammering nails, fixing fences, and living her truth, far away from the digital noise that claimed her life. When the rumors finally began to fade, what remained was a quiet realization. The world's reaction had revealed something profound: how deeply people cared about Misty. Her temporary absence from television and public view had created an unexpected emptiness, a void that no rumor could fill. People missed her presence, her laughter, her grit, her down-to-earth wisdom. But Misty hadn't vanished. She had only retreated to the place that always called her heart, the wilderness. For her, peace was never found in trending hashtags or viral posts. It lived in the whisper of the wind, the crackle of a fire, and the satisfaction of a day's honest work. So while the world buzzed with false farewells, Misty Raney was exactly where she belonged, off the grid, grounded and alive. The story served as a reminder that in a world obsessed with constant updates, sometimes the truest lives are lived quietly, far from the spotlight, where authenticity still thrives and the soul breathes freely. Moving away from the rumors and tragedies surrounding Misty Raney, did she have an affluent background? What kind of life did she have growing up? Let's dive into the details of Misty Raney's roots. The wild Alaskan beginning. The story of Misty Raney doesn't begin in comfort or luxury, but in the fierce, breathtaking wilderness of Alaska, a place where the mountains test your strength and the weather measures your courage. She was born into a world where life wasn't handed to you. You had to earn it every single day. To survive there meant knowing the land like family, reading the sky for storms, feeling the rhythm of the seasons, and trusting your instincts as much as your own heartbeat. Misty grew up as part of the legendary Raney clan, a family known not just for living in the wild, but thriving in it. Her father, Marty Raney, was no ordinary man. He was a builder, a mountain guide, a musician, and, above all, a believer in the power of self-reliance. He raised his children to understand that comfort dulls courage, and that true joy is born from effort, not ease. Under his rugged wisdom, Misty learned early that nature is both a teacher and a test. From her earliest years, Misty stood out. She wasn't just another child running through the woods. She was a spark of determination wrapped in laughter. While most kids learn to live with convenience, Misty learned to live with the land. Her playground was the forest, her lessons written in wind and snow. Each day demanded a different kind of strength. Hauling wood through icy mornings, repairing roofs torn apart by storms, or coaxing life from soil that froze more often than it thawed. In the Raney household, every skill was survival, and every chore built character. They didn't just exist in the wilderness, they belonged to it. The biting cold, the roaring rivers, the endless stretches of wild terrain all became part of who they were. Misty's hands grew strong, her spirit unbreakable, and her heart deeply tied to the rhythm of the natural world. Yet beneath all the grit and adventure of those early years lay something far deeper. It wasn't just about survival, it was about meaning. Misty learned that the wilderness held truths the modern world had forgotten, about balance, respect, and living in harmony with creation rather than trying to control it. For her, every sunrise over a frozen peak was a reminder of how small humans are beside the power of nature, and how beautiful that humility could be. As she grew, so did her purpose. The lessons carved into her by Alaskan winters and her father's teachings became her compass. She came to believe that the old ways, working with your hands, respecting the land, living simply, were not relics of the past, but treasures worth protecting. That belief, strong and steady as the mountains that raised her, would one day lift Misty Raney beyond Alaska's borders and onto the world's stage, where her voice and spirit would inspire countless others to rediscover what it truly means to live wild and alive. But what brought the Raney family into the limelight? How did the Raneys become TV stars? Let's dig into the details of how Homestead Rescue was birthed. From Alaska to America's screens. Years later, what began as the Raney family's rugged way of life in the wilds of Alaska transformed into something far greater, the heartbeat of a global sensation known as Homestead Rescue. Their deep-rooted survival skills, once used simply to sustain their own family, evolved into a beacon of hope for hundreds of struggling dreamers across America, people yearning to leave behind the chaos of modern life and rediscover simplicity, freedom, and purpose in nature. Yet, many didn't know where to start or how to survive off the grid. That's where the Raneys stepped in. In the hit Discovery Channel series, patriarch Marty Raney and his two children, Misty and Matt, embark on life-changing journeys across the United States. Their mission: to rescue failing homesteads and guide desperate families back to self-reliance. But Homestead Rescue is more than a show about tools, shelters, or livestock. It's a heartfelt story about endurance, second chances, and the human spirit's unshakable desire to reconnect with the land. It's a reminder that while nature can be harsh, it can also heal. Misty Raney quickly became the soul of the show. With her contagious smile, dirt-streaked hands, and fearless approach to every challenge, she wasn't just a builder, she was a believer. She approached each rescue with both practicality and empathy, blending strength with tenderness in a way that drew people in. Whether she was rebuilding a collapsing chicken coop in the rain, reinforcing a cabin at risk of flooding, or showing families how to plant and preserve their own food, Misty radiated a spirit that was raw, honest, and deeply human. She proved that compassion and craftsmanship could coexist, and that real resilience often grows from kindness. Each episode carried more than the tension of a survival challenge. It carried the heartbeat of a dream. Viewers watched families confront their fears, rediscover their courage, and find new beginnings through the Raneys' guidance. And at the center of it all stood Misty, in her worn boots and calm determination, symbolizing the bridge between people and the wilderness they longed to embrace. She wasn't just teaching them to build walls or grow crops. She was teaching them to believe in themselves, in their families, and in the power of starting again. Homestead Rescue became not just a show, but a movement, one that celebrated grit, hope, and the beauty of simplicity. Through the Raneys, and especially through Misty's unwavering spirit, audiences around the world were reminded that sometimes saving a homestead isn't only about surviving the wild. It's about reclaiming a dream that was never lost, only waiting to be revived. When Misty Raney is not on the screen working on Homestead Rescue, where does she hibernate? What does she do? Let's find out. Life beyond the cameras. Far from the bright camera lights and bustling film sets, Misty's real life unfolds quietly, beautifully, and with purpose. It's a life rooted in simplicity and truth, one that feels refreshingly real in a world often lost in noise and show. With her husband, Makaya Bilodeau, a talented carpenter and surfer with a deep love for craftsmanship and the ocean, Misty has built a world that moves to its own rhythm. Together, they divide their time between Alaska and Hawaii, two places that mirror the duality of their souls, one wild and icy, the other warm and free. But their story isn't about wealth or luxury. It's about something far more lasting: authenticity. Misty lives close to the earth. She raises animals with care, constructs, buildings with her own hands, and teaches others how to live sustainably. Her daily life isn't glamorous, yet it shines with purpose. She believes deeply in self-reliance, not as isolation, but as empowerment, the kind that comes from knowing you can stand strong, nurture life, and build something meaningful from the ground up. Through her work and her example, Misty has become a quiet inspiration, especially to young women who look up to her. She doesn't preach rebellion or defiance for its own sake. Instead, she teaches that true empowerment begins with understanding who you are, where you come from, and what your purpose is. She shows that strength is not about domination, but about harmony. Harmony with nature, with responsibility, and with one's inner calling. In a generation obsessed with convenience and instant results, Misty's life is a gentle rebellion. She represents endurance, the courage to choose the long, often harder path because it leads to deeper fulfillment. Her life reminds us that when the human spirit walks hand in hand with nature, when we respect creation and live with gratitude, we can thrive even in the harshest places. On her homestead, her laughter echoes through the crisp air like a song of joy. Her hands, rough from work yet gentle in touch, continue to shape the land she loves. Every sunrise sees her tending to her animals, repairing fences, planting seeds, or mentoring someone who has come to learn from her. She carries a kind of wisdom that only comes from living close to the elements, a wisdom that teaches patience, humility, and strength in the face of life's uncertainties. And in everything she does, Misty leaves traces of her spirit. In every structure she builds, every seed she plants, and every young heart she inspires to believe in its own strength. Her legacy is not written in fame or fortune, but in the lives she touches and the earth she nurtures. In Misty's world, authenticity is not a slogan. It's a lifestyle. It's a quiet promise to live meaningfully, love deeply, and leave the world a little better than she found it. And that, perhaps, is the truest form of beauty. A life lived with purpose, grounded in faith, and guided by the steady rhythm of a heart at peace. Despite illness, Misty Raney is alive, debunking death rumors. What can we learn from her journey? What's next for her? Let's talk about lessons learned from Misty's story. Resilience, rumors, and the spirit that never died. The story of Misty Raney is not just another tale about fame, television, or celebrity life. It's far deeper than that. It's a story about quiet courage, resilience, and a love for simple living. Misty's journey reminds us that true greatness often unfolds far from the noise of applause and the spotlight of the camera. It's about doing what's right, what's good, and what's needed, even when no one is watching. When the internet buzzed with rumors about Misty Raney's death, hearts around the world froze for a moment. Fans, friends, and even casual viewers felt a deep sadness, not because of fame lost, but because of the idea of losing someone who represented hope. Thankfully, the rumors were false. But that wave of emotion revealed something powerful. Misty Raney had become more than just a familiar face from Homestead Rescue. She had become a symbol of endurance in tough times, of kindness in a world that can feel cold, and of humility in an age of self-promotion. Misty's strength is not loud or showy. It's the kind that works quietly, in muddy boots, under rain clouds, and with hands that know both the weight of tools and the warmth of compassion. Every time she lifts a hammer, fixes a roof, or teaches someone how to rebuild their homestead, she's doing more than manual work. She's building faith in human effort again. She's proving that it's still possible to live a meaningful life by creating, repairing, and nurturing instead of just consuming and complaining. Each action she takes is like a small rebellion, a gentle protest against despair, disconnection, and the growing distance between humans and nature. In every log she stacks and every smile she gives, Misty quietly reminds us of what it means to be truly alive, to work with your hands, to care for your family, to honor the land, and to help others stand when they've fallen. So when people ask, "Where is Misty Raney now?" they're often looking for a location, maybe a new project or a new episode. But the real answer isn't about geography. Misty Raney is exactly where she's always belonged, out in the open, surrounded by the wild beauty of creation. She's there, among the trees and the rivers, breathing the crisp air, guiding those who've lost touch with self-reliance, and showing that hard work can still bring joy. She's alive, not just in the physical sense, but in the truest meaning of the word. She's thriving in her element, deeply connected to the rhythm of the earth, to the people who depend on her, and to the life she's chosen. Her story tells us that real strength doesn't scream for attention or seek validation. It doesn't live online. It builds quietly, teaches patiently, and loves deeply. Misty Raney stands as a reminder that life's purpose isn't measured by followers or fame, but by the difference we make in the lives around us. Her legacy is not written in headlines, but carved in wood, planted in gardens, and seen in the grateful eyes of those she's helped. So, the next time her name comes up, remember this: Misty Raney doesn't need the world to watch to prove her worth. She's too busy living it, shaping homes, nurturing hearts, and reminding us all that real heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear work gloves, smile through the rain, and quietly keep the world standing, one repaired roof and one hopeful soul at a time. So, what do you think about Misty Raney's silence? Could it mean something other than approval? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.